Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. Here you will learn all things related to healing from divorce, mind, body, and spirit, so you can create a beautiful new life filled with happiness. I'm Rachel Ruby, author of Divorce to Bliss, divorce coach, speaker, and attorney, and I'm so glad you found me here. Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. I'm Rachel S. Ruby, and I'm so excited you're here today. We are going to be talking about judging of others and judging of the self. Now, judgment is something that is really common within society. It's something that many of us grow up learning how to do, and that mostly comes from a lack of self-worth or self-confidence. And if we don't learn how to deal with this, we will go on throughout our whole lives being judgmental. And when we are going through divorce, which is a trauma, and we're learning to heal, or we're trying to heal and start that healing journey, judgment can really make it harder for us to heal because it's not allowing us to move forward. So let's talk about judging others, and then we'll get more into judging the self, which is a little bit more tricky. When we judge others, again, this is really common within within human nature. And oftentimes, of course, like I said, we do it because we have a lack of self-worth or a lack of self-confidence. And we also do it as a means of avoidance because instead of focusing on ourselves and what we need to heal within and what we maybe need to change, when we focus on someone else's imperfections or things that we may feel they're not doing right, it kind of gives us an escape from diving into ourself. So here are some ways that we can stop judging others. And the first one, number one, is to catch yourself when you are doing it. So whether you are thinking a thought about somebody or you say something aloud to yourself or to someone else, it doesn't really matter. You need to kind of catch yourself. And this may take some time, and that's okay. And don't get frustrated. Catch yourself when you're having that thought, that judgy thought about somebody else. So for example, let's say you are sitting at lunch with your friend and you're having conversation and you see this really confident woman strutting across the restaurant, and she just looks like she's full of confidence and she knows what she's doing and she knows what she wants. And you're maybe in that state where you're trying to start healing and you're feeling really down, and immediately your brain thinks, that woman's got an issue. Like, look at how she carries herself, or, wow, she thinks she's all that, or, whatever it is, whatever comes to your thought process. So we want to first just catch ourselves in that and just kind of take a few deep breaths. And this is a really good time to maybe kind of gently ask ourselves quietly why we are judging this woman. What is it about her that is a threat to us, or that makes us feel a certain feeling that maybe isn't a good feeling? And so that's the first step, is just really noticing that and catching yourself, taking the deep breath. And then the second step is to try and see things from the perspective of that person. So we all have our own agenda. We all have our own things that we're going through. And so you may see that woman strutting across the restaurant in her heels and her beautiful outfit, looking like she's full of confidence. And you may imagine that there's a look on her face that says something, and you have no idea who that person is or what they have gone through or are going through in their lives. Maybe that person just went through a huge healing journey as well and got to this place of like extreme confidence. Maybe that person was never a confident individual and now she is. And look at her strutting. That's amazing that she can do that. And although you may not feel at the time that that's something you can do, if you do the healing work, you will get to a point. You may not physically strut across a restaurant, but you will be strutting inside. And that is what's important. So we are in the second step, we are seeing things from that person's perspective, and we are acknowledging that we don't know who they are. We don't know why they have this confidence, but we are really just acknowledging what a beautiful thing that confidence is, and how we all express ourselves differently. And that's what makes the world interesting and exciting. So look at things from their own perspective. Try to understand where they're coming from, even if it's not a choice you would make or an action you would take. And then the last part of learning to stop judging others is acceptance and love. Now, I know you might say, okay, that's kind of frou-frou, but here's the thing. Until we start learning to accept others for who they are, so we don't judge them and we send them love, then we will not be able to move forward in our own healing journey. Because when we focus negatively on somebody and what they're doing, what their actions are, we are wasting our energy instead of expending that energy on the good, which is how we can heal ourselves. We're using that energy negatively by putting it out there on someone else and really kind of in a way blaming them. And it might make us feel good for a minute, but eventually that is not going to help us heal, and it is not going to help us move forward to create a new life. So I read this comment not too long ago, this quote that made just it was such a great quote. And it said, "We are all masterpieces and we are all works in progress." And I absolutely love that. And this is perfect time to throw this out there, because that woman, just like you, is a masterpiece. You are a masterpiece, but we're also works in progress. So we can't be judgy of others, just like we can't be judgy of ourselves. And we're going to get into that in a moment. And this quote really applies to both judging others and judging the self. So knowing that we are always a work in progress, and accepting that in other people. So no matter what someone else is doing, that might, and it could even be the former spouse. The former spouse can be doing something that's really just upsetting you. Instead of judging them, you have to realize too that they are also going through something difficult. They may be going through it in a different way than how you are going through it, but still, you have to accept that we all do things differently, and you have to send that love out to, yes, the former spouse or whoever it may be that you are judging. Because when we allow that love in and we can put that love out there, it allows us to come to be in a better place and to have more energy to expend on fixing what we need to fix in here. So those are the ways that you can learn to stop judging others. And now we're going to talk about judging the self. And this one is a bit trickier, of course, because when we are in this process of going through healing and coming out of a divorce, and we have a lot of negative feelings and we have a lot of hurt, and we have so many parts of us that need to heal, and we may not know where to start. Judging is something that can just come naturally to us because, again, it allows us to escape. When we judge ourselves, we are really putting the onus on who we are as a person, and we're questioning ourselves, and we're questioning whether we can heal and whether we can be happy and whether we even deserve it. And this is something we need to just get over. We need to get over this hump, because that's how we're going to start making changes. So here are the ways that we can learn to stop judging the self. The first way, again, is to recognize those negative thoughts that we have and about ourselves, and try to catch ourselves, just like we did when we were judging others, when we are thinking those negative thoughts. And this might be a little bit easier to catch yourself because you're thinking the thoughts about yourself, and you will notice that when you think negative thoughts about yourself, you don't feel so great, right? So I want you to start recognizing those negative thoughts. And after a while, that's going to become habit. And what I want you to do when you have these negative thoughts is I want you to replace them with positive thoughts. So instead of, for example, saying, I'm such a failure because I divorced my spouse, and now I'm all alone. You want to say to yourself, I am so successful because I made a decision that I felt was right in my heart. And now I have the ability to go on and create a whole new life. And I can determine what that life is going to look like, feel like, be like, smell like, taste like, who I'm going to be in that new life. And so therefore I am successful because look how far I've come, and I'm going to even go so much further so I can get to that point of happiness. The second step in learning how to stop judging yourself is to be grateful and express gratitude. Now, if you watch my podcasts or listen to them, you know I talk a lot about the power of gratitude, the gratitude attitude. It is so important to feel grateful, to be grateful. There may be times where you don't feel grateful, and that's okay. That's normal. But I want you to start expressing your gratitude, especially every morning when you wake up and every night before you go to bed, and finding, if you can, 5 things that you're grateful for, because no matter how down in the doldrums you are, no matter how much of a victim you are feeling that you are, you can always change that. We always have choices. I have said this so many times. And our choices are what allow us to either heal or not heal, right? So it's your choice. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be healthy? Body, mind, and spirit? Then these are the steps you need to take to stop judging the self. Now, replacing those negative thoughts with the positive thoughts is a great way to do it once you realize that you are judging yourself. And here's an exercise that I think is phenomenal. And I did it so many times, and I still do it when I have a feeling about a down feeling or whatever. We all do. We're human, right? And the exercise is looking into the mirror at yourself and staring into your own eyes and taking apart that negative thought that you just experienced. Again, let's say you were feeling like you are a failure for leaving your marriage, and looking at yourself in your eyes in the mirror and telling yourself why you are a success and why you are a person who deserves to be happy. And there's something amazing about looking at yourself and doing this, because there is so much vulnerability. And you can do this as often as you feel the need to do it, because it really shifts something. I just got the chills, but it really shifts something inside of your heart when you can look at yourself and you can tell yourself how deserving you are. And I want you to try that exercise. And if it doesn't resonate with you the first time, keep doing it. And hopefully at some point in time, you will feel this connection with yourself while you are gazing into your own eyes. You may even start crying. And that is wonderful. So we want to be grateful and express to ourselves how we are grateful and what tools we have that allow us to move forward. And the next one is being present. And this, again, just like being grateful, is so important, because nobody ever moved forward by looking back that way, right? And if you look back all the time on the marriage and all the mistakes you made, you can't move forward and heal. So we need to focus on right now and being present. And I gave an example in another podcast about a gentleman who had come to me and told me that he was trying to understand why he did certain things wrong in his marriage that caused his marriage to fail, so that in the next relationship he has down the road, he won't do those same things. And again, I had to stop him, and we had to have a whole conversation about why he was focusing on the past, because that's not going to help him be a better partner in the future. What is going to help him be a better partner, be the best partner he can in the future, is to A, learn to love himself. And with that comes being present, which is B, and focusing on the now. Doesn't matter what happened before. When you learn to love yourself and you heal, you become a much better and much higher version of yourself. And that in turn will allow you to be a much better and higher partner to someone else when the timing is right. So focusing on the present allows you to move forward. And next, the fourth one is recognizing that you can do anything that you desire, believe, and expect. And I've talked about this trifecta many times as well. So knowing that you can do something if you set your mind to it. So if you obviously desire making a change so you can be happy, and believing that you can do that, and expecting that it will happen. And these are all mindset tweaks that we just need to work on by realizing that we are not perfect. We are perfectly imperfect. And that is a wonderful thing to be. If we were all perfect and none of us had anything to work on, we'd probably get pretty bored, right? And we wouldn't be able to appreciate the changes that we make when we do make changes. So understand that you can do it. It is a mindset belief. You have to learn to believe that you can. You have to want to do it, desire it, learn to believe you can, and then you have to expect it's going to happen. And we do that by taking steps to make things change. And then the fifth thing, the final thing, which of course is really encompasses the whole healing journey and is the premise of the whole healing journey, is to love yourself completely. And when we do these little steps and learn to stop judging ourselves by recognizing negative thoughts and replacing them with the positive, being grateful, expressing our gratitude, and looking ourselves in the eyes and telling ourselves how wonderful we are and what great qualities we do have, by being present in the moment as often as we can and catching ourselves if we're not, and we're focusing on the past and coming back to the present, and knowing we can do anything we desire, believe, and expect. All those things are going to lead to loving you. And when you truly love yourself, you have evolved. And when you evolve, your life is going to start drastically changing, and you are going to start creating the life that you want to live. And you do that by taking steps, by taking actions to make that happen. So if you want any more help in this journey from divorce to bliss, and other ways that you can focus on healing and creating this new amazing life for yourself, you can, of course, check out my channel, Divorce Healing Network, on YouTube. Continue to listen to my podcasts. You can order my book, Divorce to Bliss, on Amazon. And of course, the creme de la creme is that I am a divorce healing coach, and I have programs that you can check out on my website, rachelsruby.com. And these programs can help you to create a healing journey that is specifically tailored to your needs. And I am there with you to hold you accountable and help you through this process so that you can find your bliss, because you can find your bliss. I found mine. I've helped many people find theirs. I know it's possible, and you just need to get out of your own way. So thank you for tuning in today. And if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, turn on notifications, like, comment, and share so I can continue to provide more information for your journey from divorce to bliss. And if you are listening on one of the many audio channels that host my podcast, thank you for tuning in. And please feel free to visit the website and the other sites I mentioned to get more information. Have a fantastic day, and thank you again for being here.